It's through our relationships that we have the opportunity to demonstrate to one another and to ourselves the mastery of the emotions and the mastery of what our lives have come to be. It is through the science of compassion and the temples of our relationships that you and I are being gifted the opportunity to tune our bodies to the changes that the earth is asking us to accommodate within our lives. So we've just spent the last couple of hours going over many of the parameters of what that tuning is all about and what's involved in that tuning. Some of the concepts may sound a little technical, some may sound a little nebulous, and because of that, what I'd like to do now for the next few minutes is to demonstrate to you through a real-life story precisely how these temples may come into your lives, sometimes when you least expect it, and what the temples mean to you as they're unfolding in your life. I know my life the best, and from that I will share a single story with you, a story that's helped many people. It's provided some concreteness to what sometimes are otherwise very nebulous concepts. So I'll begin this story. 1993, I had 3 people came into my life, all within just a few short weeks of one another in 1993, in 3 very different and also related relationships. One of those people was a business partner that contacted me and came in to my life through a business relationship. One was it was a friend who was a friend and also someone who came to live on my property with me in exchange for work that would be done on the property. And one was a romantic relationship, all of them beginning at approximately the same time. Well, there was something interesting that happened in these relationships. In that it wasn't long after beginning each of them that each of those people in the relationships began to exhibit characteristics that just made me crazy. Just drove me right up the wall in the past of those relationships. And I discounted those feelings. And this is important when I say this. I discounted the feelings. So what happened was I would come home from a business trip, from a workshop or a lecture, and things would be happening at home, things that were just making me crazy at the time. And I'd say, you know, I'm just tired, or it's just me, and I'm going to be gone again in a few days. So I would kind of discount those experiences, and I would go on my next trip. And I'd come home, and the same thing would be happening again and again and again. Well, each time I come home from a trip, there's a routine that I follow. I come in through the Albuquerque airport, I go to the ATM, get some money out, take my car out of parking, pick up any pets from the vet, go to the grocery store, and go home. And I was coming back from a particular trip in Seattle, not long after these relationships had begun in my life. And my routine didn't get very far. I came in on the plane, I went to the ATM to get the money out, and the ATM told me that there was no money available to me. This was on a Sunday afternoon, late on a Sunday afternoon. And I knew that there was a mistake because I had just put a fairly large sum of money into that account from a loan, a construction loan, as I was renovating the property, the meditation center in northern New Mexico, where I had recently moved. So I knew that there was a mistake. There was nothing that could be done on a Sunday afternoon with the ATM people. So Monday morning I got up and I called the bank, and much to my surprise, they said, "Mr. Braden, there is no mistake. All those funds were withdrawn, and that account now is 71 checks overdrawn, and we are assessing you a fee for each of those checks that's overdrawn." And I said, "Wow, something's happened here." And I went in and worked with the bank, and found out that someone I had trusted trusted tremendously had taken the liberty with that account, had essentially drawn all the money out of that account, taken the name off of the account, and the bank had allowed that whole process to happen. Well, when I go home from a trip and I have some time to spend at home, there's an old dirt road, just down from my home, and I love to walk on this road because there's no traffic and there's nothing to do but walk and think. And I began walking on this road to try to understand what had just happened to me. I mean, something big. When something big like that happens in your life, you know that there's something going on. Each of these 3 people in these 3 relationships were really becoming a challenge to deal with. And now I had absolutely no money in my account. I couldn't get my car out of the Albuquerque parking lot. I couldn't pull my pets out of the vet. I couldn't go to the grocery store. The workmen were already on my property, renovating the property, and I went home to them and I said, you might as well leave. I have no money to pull my animals out of the vet. I certainly cannot pay you. And all these things happened, all in the same weekend. Well, as I began walking down this road, I was conditioned, as many of you were, that when something is in your face, when someone is showing you something that you do not like, that they're showing you you. They're a mirror of something about you that you don't like. So I said to myself, if these people are mirroring something to me, what is it they're showing me about myself? And to know that, I had to be very clear about what was being demonstrated in each of the relationships. And as I walked along this road and thought about it, it became very clear to me that there were issues of trust, issues of honesty, issues of integrity. All three of those issues were involved in my relationships with these other people. In the business relationship, I would uphold my end of the business. I would do the presentations as I was contracted to do them. And for a number of reasons, explanations that were given to me at the time, I could not get paid. They were not paying me to do in a timely fashion to do these events. And I was not able to meet my commitments, my mortgage payments and commitments that I had to other people. So all of these relationships, the gentleman that was living on my property, chose in his lifestyle to demonstrate behavior patterns that I was not able to accept on my property at that time. And I said, this is not what this property is all about. All three of those people were showing me issues that I believe they were mirroring issues to me of myself. So I'm walking down this road and I'm thinking, if they're showing me these issues of myself, and what are they saying? Are they saying to me that I am not trustworthy, or that I have issues of integrity, or that my honesty is in question? And immediately I knew that the answer was no, because that's precisely what this work is all about. It's based in trust and integrity and honesty. And immediately this thing welled up inside of me and it said, no, Greg, you're not being shown, they are not mirroring to you the things that you are in this moment. Those people, in their own way, were mirroring to me that which I judged. They were mirroring to me patterns that I had a tremendous charge on. And it's true, I had at that time a tremendous charge on trust, issues of trust and integrity and honesty. It's a very subtle yet powerful pattern. Now think about what they were showing me. By my charge, by my dislike of those characteristics, I had skillfully drawn to my life three people because of that charge that mirrored right back to me that subtle pattern. And it is a very subtle pattern. If you have someone in your life right now that you love on one hand, and on the other hand, they exhibit characteristics and patterns that are hard for you to live with, to deal with, that just sometimes make you crazy. There is a very good possibility, as you look at those patterns, if you can honestly say, they're not mirroring to me what I am, there's a very good possibility that you can say they're mirroring to me that which I judge. It's a powerful, powerful lesson. Well, let me continue with this story because it's pretty interesting the way that the whole thing unfolded. Later that day, I took a trip out to the Taos Pueblo, not far from where I live, and I met with a friend of mine who is an artist that lives on the Pueblo. And I hadn't seen him for a while, and I said, hi, how are you doing? And he said, I'm fine, what's going on with you? And I shared with him this story of what had just happened to me. And he said, well, let me share a story with you. He said, 100 years ago in northern New Mexico, our plains were full of herds of wild buffalo. And my great-grandfather, in his initiation rite into adulthood, was asked to kill a buffalo to demonstrate his skills of hunting, and he did. He said his great-grandfather went out and he killed his first buffalo, and he kept the head of that buffalo, and it was a prized possession. It was a treasure, a tangible link with his past. And this gentleman had kept it for all of these years.